Ladies and gentlemen, our next set of awards honor the Dons who celebrate excellence in media, marketing, and advertising. They are indeed the frontliners. These are the people who run the show, those who pave the way and lead it with conviction. To present our first award in this category, may I please invite on stage Mr. President, IAA India Chapter, Mr. Ramesh Narayan. Welcome back, sir. While we started the show, we said what is good for our business. Our next category and leader is truly a testament to that. Let's take a look at this AV.
The IAA Business Leader of the Year is Ajay Piramal.
Has to be able to see differently, otherwise you're not a leader, because then you will do what everybody else does. Where do you make abnormal returns is when you spot an opportunity when others have not done it, or you spot it before others do it, or you deal with it in a different manner than what others do. That's how you become a leader.
Congratulations, sir. May I please request you to join us on stage? Ladies and gentlemen, could we have a huge round of applause for Mr. Piramal?
My friend, Mr. Ramesh Narayan, the president of IAA, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Normally, I have to say that I don't like to accept too many awards. And nowadays, frankly, there are so many that are given away. But when Ramesh asked me for this award, I felt truly honored because IAA is such a prestigious organization, and to get recognition from this is, for me, a big honor. So thank you very much for this. Today is an auspicious day. It is Guru Purnima. So you think of the teachings of the Gurus, and the Jagat Guru is Krishna. And I thought I would share with you some of those learnings that I have, and many of us, I'm sure, in this room have got. So as we all know that the Gita is Krishna's advice to his student Arjun. It is set in the midst of a battlefield. And it's important, the setting. The setting is such that it highlights that this is not a book, not a text to be read in the forest when you are, doing sannyas and you're doing meditation. But in the midst of the most intense activity, when you are fighting to save your life and your country, that's the time when this lesson is given, and hence is applicable to all situations, I would say. So, the first thing that I have learned from this is courage. You would probably recollect that when the two armies, the Kauravas and the Pandavas, are faced against each other, and Pandava's leader Arjuna he's so shattered and he's so scared to see the Kaurava army that he gives up and says, I will not fight and I'd rather give up and, die than fight. And that's when he's reminded and said that you have to get up and fight. How has that helped me? I thought I will share with you. And many times when we are in difficulties, this is the reminder. I also had some challenging occasions in my life. I was forced into leadership at a pretty young age of 29 because my father passed away at 24. My eldest brother, who was just 34, suddenly passed away again with cancer. We were in a textile industry, and that industry actually there was a big strike. So you didn't have family, you didn't have business. And that's when one remembered the lesson that you have to keep on fighting and have the courage to take on difficulties, because the other thing that Krishna keeps reminding in the Gita is that do not grieve. It's the most optimistic book if you read, and says that do not worry, my devotee, I will protect what the devotee has and provide everything that devotee needs. So with that confidence, I think we could, and my wife is here, she was part of this whole journey, we could go through that. The other thing that is taught in the Gita is to be fearless. And that's what we've also done. We've always traveled the path less traversed by people. So to shift from textiles to pharmaceuticals and to build a business in pharmaceuticals from nothing to become one of the largest in the country, to shift from pharmaceuticals to financial services, there is no connection between these. But if one is fearless, then that's the other thing that's possible to do. One of the most famous lessons of the Gita is that one needs to focus on the actions, because every result is only how you act. The results will come only as per your actions. If we focus on results, then the stress of achieving the results actually dilutes this focus on action. And I really realized this again We were in the midst of a transaction with Abbott when we were selling our domestic pharma business to them. This was a large transaction. It was valued at $3.8 billion. And at that time, after the transaction was done and everything was over, the Abbott team came and told me that one thing that we really appreciated, and we tried all throughout that process many times to actually scare you that we will not go through with the process and we will not do the deal unless you agree on certain things. But we were very clear. What is right, we will do, irrespective of what happens in the deal. And frankly, it is because of this inspiration from the Gita that you just focus on the action is why we could get what is even till now the highest ever valuation anybody has got in the world in terms of a branded generics business. So again, it is all about focusing on action. What I'm trying to say is that every stage of the Gita is very practical. It is not only philosophy, it is philosophy which we can practice on a day-to-day basis. The Gita talks about equanimity, how through highs and lows. And I think that to me has been a big source of strength. I don't know anybody in this world who's not gone through highs as well as difficult times. At least I have not met. You know, sometimes you would feel that a Karan Johar is only always successful. But I'm sure, Karan, you have also had some times when you feel low. That's the time when the Gita says that be equanimous, because then that's the right decision that you can take. The Lord reminds us that we are just mere instruments and we are mere trustees of what has been given to us. So the trustee's role is that the wealth or the assets that you have got are really the part of, it is given to us and it is to be used for the benefit of all stakeholders, for society. And if you are only using it for yourself, the Gita says that you are a thief. That has inspired us to actually define the purpose of our group. Our group, the purpose of our group, its existence is to do well and to do good. So doing well in your business, and your business needs to do good and make a positive difference to the world around us. This has inspired us, and today, in the field of health, we touch on a daily basis more than 500,000 lives. We touch in terms of education, and we work only with government schools where the poorest people go, more than 550,000 kids on a daily basis. In fact, the Prime Minister has identified 118 of what they call the aspirational districts in India. In other words, these are the least developed districts in the country. And the belief is that if we work in these districts, the whole country will go ahead. And these are the districts, 30 of them, where we work to try and improve indicators of health, to try and improve indicators of education. Just to tell you how challenging these districts are, there are some districts where our young girls and boys work, where there is a notice which was put up there in one of the places in the villages that be careful, that there are actually leopards there. And you'll be shocked to know that these districts, 30 kids in the last 3 months were taken away by leopards and killed. So these are some of the most challenging things that happen in our country, and that's where our young girls and boys work, out of which whom we have now recruited in this year 450 of these fellows, whom we train to be leaders who give back to the country. So they are with us for 2 years, and we train them to become better citizens. So that's another initiative that we do, as we do for providing clean drinking water. Again, the inspiration is that this wealth, we are just mere trustees of it, and our role is to ensure that as good instruments of the power above, we deal with them. There is finally in the Gita again, and this award here and this meeting is perhaps important. It says that leaders are the ones who inspire society. Now that you've called me a leader with this award, I would say that your actions alone is one which will inspire society. So I think it is actually important for each one of us to set examples so that the others can also follow. And I want to end my talk by what is the favorite quote as far as our group is concerned. Again, it is a quote from the Upanishads, so I'm going to say it in English, but it is so relevant. Many of you may have heard it. You are what your deep driving desire is. As is your desire, so is your will. As is your desire, so is your will. As is your will, so is your deed. And as is your deed, so is your destiny. In other words, if we really deeply desire something and we start acting upon it, we can shape our own destiny. Thank you.